Alright, guys, let's get back to it. The 4 agreements. Party people. We've got some notes for pages 78, 79. About happiness and love as it pertains to work. So there was this story about a monk who was meditating, and he's asking his master, if I meditate for 5 hours a day, I don't remember the exact numbers. If I meditate for 4 hours a day, how long will it take for me to become enlightened? And they said 10 years. And he says, okay, well, if I meditate for 8 hours a day, which is double 4, how long will it take me to be enlightened then? Thinking it should be faster, right? And the master says 20 years. And they say, well, good question. Why is it longer if I meditate more? And the master mentions, you're supposed to spend your life enjoying your time and not spending your time just like for the sake of work only. You have to have time like focusing on love and enjoyment in life. That's important, And if you're spending all day meditating, you're kind of missing out. Kind of same like if you're spending all day working just to make money, that's the next concept that goes into working to make money for a reward. Working for a reward, not focusing on your lifestyle happiness, your lifestyle satisfaction. So that's what I meant by that note of happiness and love as it pertains to work. Sometimes we can forget about the process. It's like, focusing on the process and the portions of enjoying the process. That's something that is important, don't forget the process. Don't forget to focus on the process and find value in the process itself versus only finding value in, the reward itself, which is money. Like, that's not going to be something that's very sustainable. And so, or fulfilling, And, one question that I've always kind of found interesting, like, not to be morbid, but like on a person's tombstone, what are people going to say about you, Usually, people are going to care how you treated others, how you were there for others, the impact that you left on the world. And the jobs that I've had, I've noticed that even though I wasn't getting paid, I was valued as an employee. I was valued as a therapist from my clients. Maybe not everybody. Like, I'm not saying every single staff was my best friend. I mean, I don't think anyone directly made it clear that they didn't like me. But, there were some people that maybe, I got a couple side glances from them, and I kind of noticed maybe they weren't too into kind of trying to interact. And then, there were some other, just because I was like a little like, joking around a lot. I had a lot of caffeine in my system. I wasn't too attuned to like if I was maybe being a little obnoxious or a little bit like, annoying about things sometimes, just joking around too much. But yeah, I mean, I think most people would realize that I had good intentions. Like, I remember once there was this one lady who, it was a friend of mine, and we were all kind of making this like nasty joke. I don't remember it wasn't anything inappropriate, but we were all talking about like, say we were talking about like squashing spiders, and like there was a lot of slime or something, and then somebody else kept mentioning it or mentioning other things about squashing bugs and slime or something like that. And then she was like, ew, like, you guys is grossing me out, like, stop. And then I made one more comment because I wasn't really paying attention. I wasn't trying to, like, go against her boundaries at all. I just made some kind of comment, and then this other person kind of, like, gave me this, like, stern kind of look, and I was just like, sorry, I wasn't, like, paying attention. And I apologized because I was in the wrong, even though I wasn't really paying attention. I was just being a little bit, unfocused. And then there was another time where that same staff, she announced in one of our meetings that she, her time was up at that job and she was no longer going to stay there and was ready to quit and ready to leave. So when she announced it to the rest of us staff, I was like, oh no, like, no, like, don't leave, because I was trying to say, like, I like having you here. I like kind of, like, seeing you around and, like, chatting with you in the other part of the office. But I guess she took it offensively, and she kind of gave me that same look, like, kind of like this, like, glare. And then other people were kind of like, oh, like, we wish you the best kind of thing. And I really did wish her the best, but it's just, like, it was at a time where everyone was quitting. So I was kind of also thinking about me and just, like, shit, that means that my workload's about to increase, right? Because that's what happened. People would quit, and then you transfer all the high-risk clients. And usually because I was there, at this point, I had been there for so long, I would get a lot of high-risk clients transferred to my caseload, and that was more intensive type of work that I'd have to do. And it's not that I didn't want to see the clients, it's just that I was already, like, overwhelmed. And so I was kind of, like, thinking about, like, oh, like, don't leave, like, first of all, it's more work on us. And second of all, I wanted her to have fun being there, and, like, I was a little surprised by it, but, I don't know. So that was kind of something that I wasn't really, like, aware of and all that. Like, I mean, I look back on it and I'm like, like, I wasn't, like, perfect. So that's why I say, like, yeah, like, I know me and that one staff had some interactions like that, but it's like, overall, we were on good terms. Like, we hung out, like, once or twice outside of work, and, like, we got along. We were never, like, enemies or anything. That just, I know I had made a couple comments that maybe she didn't prefer for me to make, and it's like, whatever, none of it was meant to harm anybody, and I don't think she probably even remembers any of it. So there was that. And then the couple pages, they talk about working for pay or reward while not enjoying the process. And so, yeah, like, it talks about, people numbing out. It starts going into talking about people numbing out on the weekends or on their 2 free days off or whatever it may be due to an unhappy lifestyle of just working and not enjoying the work that they do. Which makes sense, if you don't like your work, you're gonna, not really want to be too present in your time off. But yeah, I saw that, and then, yeah, it's kind of relatable, right? It's like, nobody wants to be completely unfocused. But yeah, I don't know. When it comes to working for pay or rewards and not enjoying the process, that's something that kind of worries me, because I've always thought, like, I can't imagine myself doing a job that I don't like, even if the pay is really good, I really can't see myself doing that. But, I mean, I could see myself liking most jobs. Like, I feel like as long as the environment is at least stimulating a lot of the time, not overstimulating to a point where it's always stressful, and then the pay being good, and then, the staff and the, whatever type of clientele we serve, or whatever, like, the services we provide and everything, so long as all that's kind of, like, on point and positive, I don't really see myself fully disliking any type of work. But I don't know. I'm a little hesitant to go back into mental health work, because I think I know I would probably quit the job. And so I feel like that's a little bit messed up. I mean, I'm not trying to judge other people who do that, but it's like, I'm just saying for myself, it doesn't sit right with me to be like, it's almost like if you're going to be with someone in a relationship and they have like a kid, or like if you're going to move in with somebody and share an apartment and they have a kid, for me, I try not to be like involved with other people's children and become like really friendly and stuff, because like you become like a part of their life, and then they might think of you and like have a relationship with you, and then you just kind of like leave because you decided you get paid better, you want a different job or whatever. Like, you have every right to not have to stay, you know, in any kind of relationship or apartment arrangement or job or whatever. But it's like, I just feel some kind of way about it, because like, you know, when you're taking on other people's, you know, when you're taking on other people's kind of well-being, you know, I just don't want to screw up somebody else's, you know, happiness if it can be helped. But yeah, and then the part about numbing out on weekends, that was something I kind of thought about, because I was like, that to me becomes a sign of happiness or unhappiness, of how I spend my free time. Like, there are a lot of times where I just want to be just completely stoned. I'm like, I don't even care. I just want to be just like stoned and not really thinking about anything. Just because I just don't feel that great sometimes. And when you're busy, when you're working, you're busy, so that's kind of different. But yeah, when you're not working, it's like, you know, some things it's kind of hard to get off of my mind or whatever. But yeah, like, that's kind of what I came to as far as what I was reading. I started reading a little bit more slowly. Like, when they start talking about topics that kind of are addressing things that I can directly take from, then I start kind of reading it a little bit more slowly. But yeah, I am gonna try to finish the book. I just, you know, I feel like every page has something, some kind of nugget in it for the most part, so I didn't want to completely glance over all of it. And my brain's getting a little bit fatigued. I can tell by the way I'm talking all slow and like can't really focus too good. So I'm gonna, now that my phone is pretty charged up pretty good, I'm gonna start getting home. I saw my mom had put some chicken in the oven, so it's probably done by now. And then I'm gonna eat. I don't know if I'll watch a movie with her or what I'm gonna do, but I'll probably get on my laptop and get some work done. I don't really know yet. I don't know. I don't really like to work in the living room though, because she talks to me the whole time. It's like, guys, if you're not very social, it's not a good idea to live with retired people. Because they get lonely and they want to talk to everyone. And it's like, when when you can't focus when people are talking to you, and then their style of communication is to talk to you all the time, it's like, you know, I'm usually trying to be busy and like focus on what I was doing, and then I feel like everything, you know, the retired people have to say is kind of like a distraction from what I'm trying to do. So they want to talk about their puzzles and their gardens and their knitting and all this kind of stuff that I'm just like, I really just have a hard time caring about that kind of thing, in all honesty, especially when I'm in the middle of like transitioning from one thing to going into something else. And I'm like, I'm not here to try to socialize. I just want to get to the next task because I'm busy. But I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to be like hostile towards people, but I do feel like I could probably be more attentive, but it just is so much of a drain. Like, I don't really like having a role where I feel like I have to, like, tend to people, if that makes sense. It's like, you're capable of going out and socializing and meeting people, going to groups and meeting people and having friends and doing stuff, having your own life, like, I don't really want my life all intertwined with other people's. So, yeah, I'm gonna try and get on some applications tonight. I'm so tired, but yeah, I'm gonna get on it. And yeah. So, alright, that's about all I've got to say. Thanks for listening.